This episode is brought to you by Audible. They're the world's leading provider of audiobooks with over 150,000 titles to choose from. And you get one for free just by going to audible.com/iced. That's right. You get a free audiobook and a free 30-day trial at audible.com/ICET just for listening to this show. Real readers get their audiobooks from Audible.
Upon initial contact with Ice-T's music, I had envisioned him to be an ill-mannered and psychologically unstable man with an extremely uneducated and barbaric frame of mind, whose raps displayed nothing but ridiculous jargon, shocking sexual audacity, and repulsive images of the ghetto. However, after further analysis of his music, I can deduce that he is the epitome of anti-disestablishment terrorism, who embodies the entire spectrum of the urban experience and struggle. But to make things more plain and simple to the layman, I find Ice-T to be the dopest, flyest, OG pimp, hustler, gangster player, hardcore motherfucker living today. To be honest, I am totally and completely on his dick.
Welcome to the Ice-T Final Level Podcast, featuring your co-host, Mick Benzo, and your host,
Ice-T.
Hey, yo, what's up out there? This is Ice-T and Mick Benzo, Final Level Podcast number what, Mick?
25, baby. Quarter, baby. A quarter's going down.
25 podcasts. Now, we are very privileged tonight to have with us on number 25, our big quarter, one of my favorite people in the world, because I met this guy way back in the day when I first came to the Bronx. We did a show
At the Prospect Theater.
And these guys were there, and for some reason we just clicked. The one and only. I mean, how do you introduce this guy?
Dr. Octagon.
Reverend Tom, Shark Man,
Tony Dorsett.
oh, Fly Willie Wine
The Black
Taster,
Elvis.
the one and only Kool Keith is in the building. What up, Keith?
I'm here.
Where you at? Where you at, baby?
I'm here right now, talking to the podcast right now and, letting everybody know what we doing up here.
I was introduced to Keith by my manager, George Hinojosa. And what was the first label you guys were on? What label did you do Ego Tripping on?
Next Plateau.
Next Plateau.
No, but it was originally on DNA, International Records.
Okay, so George was promoting records at the time, and he played me this record called Ego Tripping, and we'll talk about it during the music segment.
That was with the group Ultramagnetic.
It's Ultramagnetic MCs.
Okay.
And he said, listen to this record and tell me what you think. Mm-hmm. And I said, it sounds like they're talking about Run DMC. And he's like, what? And he said, it sounds like, because I'm a rapper. I'm decoding it. And I said, this shit is unique. This shit is different. They don't sound like anybody else. They had the substitution beat and, and I heard the first words come out their mouth using simple back and forth, the same old rhythm that a baby can pick up. And I was like, I think this is a diss record on some underground shit, but it's done
Not before diss was dissing, though.
No, but it wasn't a diss. It was just them saying we're going to come another way. So we're very blessed to have my friend, Kool Keith from the Art of Rap, Dr. Octagon. We can name him so many names. Shark Man, Reverend Tom. I party with all of them on different occasions. He's on the podcast. So, Kool Keith, you ready to do the podcast with us? You know the format.
Yeah.
And here we go. Before we start this podcast 25, I have to give you an FYI out there, podcasters. This podcast was done about 3 weeks ago, November 23rd. It was impossible for us actually to do things like news and sports current, but I had a chance to get all these artists in one day, and we did it. So this Kool Keith interview, we can't talk on extremely current affairs.
No, we got good news.
But because Kool Keith is here,
we got good news, though.
We decided that we would just do the news that we think will be happening by the time you hear this. Do you understand? We're about to predict the news.
Yeah, let's give them some news, man.
This is news. Another kid got shot somewhere in some neighborhood.
In the project.
And that was news from the future. Okay, let's do sports from the future. This is sports. How do you do?
The Knicks, once again, have lost.
But Carmelo making a lot of good shots, though. Carmelo's making a lot of good shots.
The Knicks lost, and Carmelo Anthony scored a lot of points. Another night, 5 times in a row. Another night.
Did the Jets win?
Jets ain't winning nothing. The Jets are just wearing green. That's all. They just wearing green, and that's it. The Jets are just wearing green. Green means money, but they sure ain't winning no money.
How did the Giants do? We already know the Raiders. They probably right now haven't won a game yet. I mean, it's been rough being a Raiders fan for all these years. I tell people I'm an LA Raiders fan.
No, and I'm gonna say one thing too. Like, I mean, people go to the Garden, right? The tickets are very expensive.
Yeah.
Now, the new thing is, we're so fashionable about going and pay a lot of money to see people lose. I mean, you got rich people. Like you take Spike Lee.
Okay.
He sits on the court side every game.
Every game.
Them tickets are probably like 5-10 G's. But is that the style to sit and watch a team lose all year round?
Well, since we are doing sports in the future,
I'm saying I thought it was a style to go watch a team win a lot. So, and you're paying good money for a seat.
Guess what?
But I'm saying they still charging arrogantly for a seat to watch them lose. How arrogant can you? No, I'm saying how arrogant can you be though?
Since this is sports in the future, maybe Spike Lee didn't show up at a game.
No, Spike
he's still there.
He's still showed up.
Kidding me?
Still at
and he's throwing his towel. He's getting texts, and he ain't even on the team, though, Keith.
Yeah.
Well, you think Spike can play basketball?
No.
No, Spike don't know nothing about nothing in the NBA. He don't even got a basketball digest. He don't even know about like prior, he don't even know about, like the pre, he don't even, I don't think he know about Willis Reed or nothing. I don't think he got that much experience of a team.
Speaking of the Knicks, I was at Mohegan Sun. I was out on a car rally, and we ended up going up to the Mohegan Sun, and I'm walking, right? So I'm moving through the crowd, and people are trying to take pictures and stuff. Now, the thing about it is when you're, for lack of a better word, the celebrity thing, nowadays everybody wants a picture. I love the fans. I love it. But you can't get nowhere if you actually stop to take pictures. You can't actually
You're not being rude. You're just trying to move.
Yeah, because somebody will turn, picture turns, then you're taking pictures with people that don't even know who you are. They just like, somebody's taking a picture, I got to take a picture because they Instagrammed out. But I look to the right, and I see people taking pictures, and it was Walt Frazier.
Oh, shit.
Walt Frazier, Clyde from the OG Knicks.
Taking pictures?
No, getting his picture taken.
Okay, well, yeah.
This nigga had on a pimp suit. This nigga had on a paisley-like flowered
Walt Frazier,
suit.
he get a lot of good things made.
He's a fly motherfucker.
He's like, Keith get his shit made like that.
No, I'm just saying, Walt Frazier get a lot of stuff made.
You get your shit made too,
Yeah, but I'm saying Walt Frazier got.
He's known for that.
No, I spoke to a guy downtown at a material store. He said, Walt came in and bought like $3,000 worth of material. Not even the suit.
He don't
just the material.
Just the material.
Keith, remember what we said?
And I said, did he make it here? He said, nah, he took his material and went somewhere else.
Keith, remember we used to tell bitches we don't wear shit off the rack.
Yeah. So Walt is making this stuff, but it's maybe less modern though. He's still making
a little outdated.
Yeah, he's making his tailors a little less modern because you can go buy one of the with the modern suits of Zanidi, Armani and stuff.
Right.
But he's making it look more. I guess he's making it cheap. And them guys is on HD film when you see them on them TV shows. It's another dude in the NBA. You ever see that other white dude who wear all that stuff? To wear the colors? No. But that stuff shows on HD, don't lie.
You can see that the stitching ain't right.
Right. I mean, I think Walt is making the 74 stuff, though.
Well, Walt
he's sticking to his patterns, though.
No, I'm saying, hold on. Keith, could Walt call you and get your tailor to make the suits for him?
No. I mean, Walt is doing a little bit. He's sticking to his El Monroe time. He's making the stuff from the Earl
we ain't
Monroe
being
time.
disrespectful.
No,
We
Willis
just
Reed,
saying.
he's just keeping his stitching Dave the Busher time. Bill Bradley. He's
Right. We keeping it
at
real.
the time. But I think if he probably upgrade to maybe a modern tailor, he can just because Walt be wearing some plaids. I know you see the plaids. And
Look,
stuff.
let me tell you. I walked up. I seen Walt Frazier. Hold up, pause. So I see Walt Frazier, and he had on some ill clothes, but he was much taller than I expected. I met Earl Monroe too before, and I was like, "Wow, it's Walt Frazier, right?" So he looked the same, got the sideburns on, and I'm like, "This motherfucker probably might not know who the fuck I am, might not know me from a can of paint." But I was such a fan growing up of Walt Frazier, the Pumas, and everything like that. And I said, "Walt Frazier," and he pointed at me. He said, "Ice." And I was like, wow. Just the fact that somebody I idolized actually knew who I was. Maybe he seen me on Law and Order or something like that. I was starstruck for a moment. I was like, okay, wow. Then I had to go eat dinner. But I didn't really was not able to get into his stitching that close. I didn't know about his tail.
Well, you can see it from far away, though.
Nah, but like Kool Keith said, there's HD on the TV. So we see that the stitching is kind of like outdated, man.
No, well, Walt can make a suit, but I'm saying is the modern technology of a suit built. Is,
Keith,
you can
I
see
think
it.
he's making a soup, not a suit, though.
A suit.
All the colors in there.
Yeah. Now I agree with Mick on that. I agree with Mickey Benson. Walt is using a lot of colors in the mix.
Now he rocks plaid a lot?
No, the material Walt is buying, he think is in style.
Oh.
Now, it's not his fault. Walt is just buying a lot of material from the 74 that he's making suits now in 2000, whatever, with a guy, but he's bringing the guy his 74 material.
Maybe he's got one of those tailors that just won't let him go. Like,
oh yeah,
like
I want to keep you like the
I mean, tailor that loves you and stays real close to you. But you
can't tell him nothing though. But I give him credit. He is making an original suit. But I've seen Walt with a couple that I say, Walt, I don't know. Walt, somebody should have told you the mirrors was lying this morning.
But you know what? That's Kool Keith's version of sports, and it turned into a fashion segment based on Walt Frazier and the material he's buying. And this is the best we can do for sports because, like I said, we're forecasting the future. So we're saying the Knicks lost again. Carmelo scored, and
that's gonna keep. That's we got that. Secure,
and Walt Frazier is a fly motherfucker. I seen him in person, and Ice-T got starstruck. Super fly, and that was sports. Okay, yo, this is Final Level Podcast number 25 with Dr. Octagon, with Kool Keith, with Dr. Doom, with everybody, man.
The Black Elvis is in the building.
And Ultramagnetic MC
Ultra.
Kool Keith. And this is movies.
Right.
Keith,
I know Keith's seen some good
Tell me
fucking
one of your
movies.
favorite movies.
I like Leatherface, basically. Leatherface had all types of patches and tape to make one face. Like when you saw the movie, he had pieces of a face. When I seen a dude with a sewing machine sewing his face up together, I was like, this is a goddamn good movie. Because this motherfucker had a sewing machine. He had a dirty singer, a beat up singer, but
the old school singer sewing
but
machine.
He was sewing his face. Like his thing was to get pieces of other people's face to make his face.
Right.
I was like, this motherfucker is the greatest.
How many times have you watched Leatherface?
I watched Leatherface a lot of times. I just was it was just great. The movie effects. It was in a lot of tricks, and it didn't have all these computers, and it was just raw. Now
I know when you say the word raw.
And I liked. I know Mick had to see this too. I did like the original. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Of course.
Remember when they had the family trying to feed the grandfather at the table? Like,
exactly.
He wouldn't move, but They with his hand and made him move.
And then they tried to put a hammer in his hand.
That was dope.
They tried to hit him in his hand.
So he could hit some people.
They tried to make him carry a hammer, but he couldn't hold it.
You know, my favorite part of that movie is remember when the girl. Now we're talking about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where the girl got up. Ran up the stairs and ran right out the window. Like she just ran up the steps.
Yeah.
Didn't stop, didn't dive. Just.
But did you see?
I'm out of
it's
here.
funny though. People didn't detailedly see what was on the plates at the dinner table.
What was on the
Brain.
plate?
They had ears and
Brain.
stuff. And
People's body parts.
But people was if you wouldn't pay attention in the movie, you getting high. You just think they having regular eggs and bacon. But if that was a detailed look, because you can that could have easily went right by you.
Chainsaw Massacre.
If that would have easily went by you, but if you looked on their plates, they had little ears and.
Are you telling me I got to watch the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre again
to see that part?
Yeah.
When the family was at the table, they had
family dinner.
They had,
family dinner.
They had little things on the plate.
Now you've been on tour a lot. Have you ever been in a place that you thought might have been cooking people? Like, I've been down in Texas. I was in a town. We stopped, and the guy was the sheriff. He was the mayor. He had a restaurant. He had a jail in the back of the restaurant. Like, it was one of them one-horse towns.
He was a judge,
a
too?
jail?
Everything. He was everything in one spot. And I'm like, you motherfuckers is probably cooking niggas, too, in the back. Like, have you ever felt uncomfortable?
Well, I've been in some of them hotels that seem like that movie, No Vacancy. You seen No Vacancy?
Yeah, No Vacancy.
And you sit, you're in the room, you like, somebody gonna come through the next room through them little doors and shit. I've seen rooms like that. I've been in rooms like that where it felt that No Vacancy type of feel, where you're gonna go to sleep and you're gonna feel like another person in the next room, but it has that feel like it's the Norman Bates kind of room, the Norman Bates Inn kind of feel. And
Bates Motel.
Yeah, the Bates Motel type of feel.
The thing of it is, I just realized, like, we on the Final Level podcast, we talk about everything and stuff. And I actually realized just now, knowing my man Kool Keith very, very well, this is a connoisseur of fine porno too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he knows that.
And but he doesn't like the same porno you like, No. And so, like, what do you think's going on in the porn scene right now as far as the movies? Is it going downhill, uphill?
I think it's going downhill right now because I think before they had a lot of more people coming out on the recruits were more upgraded now. It's like now they running the same people now. Mm-hmm. You got your stars that are hot, but they still kind of common star. Like, Gina Jameson is like...
She's still making movies?
Well, I'm not no more, but I'm saying they're using girls at the same caliber. It's no unique person no more. Remember they used to have every month a girl might come out with orange hair or a girl come out next week called Pinky. That it'll be more trendier because you see a new person.
Right.
I think the advertisement of the new girl that comes out every month, because every girl had a distinctive look. Mm-hmm. Remember, you'd be like, "Oh, this girl, a blonde girl came."
No, I don't remember, Keith. I wasn't as deep into porno as you.
Well, I'm saying what about?
No, but what he's saying is, he's right.
What do you know, Mick?
John Holmes and them, they were big people.
John Holmes was when you was 15.
Yeah, but I used to work on 42nd Street at the theater called Victory Theater.
Oh, you
on
worked in the porn
42nd Street. I worked in the first thing I heard at 9 o'clock in the morning was, I actually worked on 42nd Street at Brandt's 42nd Street Theater.
Yeah, I remember that.
Where we had the karate movie, but the Victory Theater was the porno movie. I
used to go check the movies out. You know what's funny though?
Come on, man.
I'm quite sure you've seen a lot of dudes come with long trench coats and sit in the back by themselves. Like that's when the movies was like you said, it'd be empty. And
I used to get in fights over that though, Keith.
Yeah, you get.
I was told to walk down the aisle and make sure they ain't jerking off. And then I flashed the light on them, and it was like they was fucking a bitch. They would jump up to fight you. Man, the fuck you doing? I'm like, listen, bro, you got to get up out of here with that, man.
Was the day I know you. That's when people used to come and sleep in the movies. You pay your fare,
come on, man,
you go take a nap.
Man.
Okay, so we going back in porno.
No, you remember when people used to just pay $5.50 to go take a nap?
One fee and stay all night.
Back in the day, they had theaters, the Pussycat theaters. And that was the big West Coast thing. This is prior to because the VCR took porno from the theater to the home.
Yeah.
And now it's on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So it made it more and more private. But at one time when porno first came out, back in the day, you know, things like Behind the Green Door and Deep Throat and all that, you had to go to the theater to see it.
Yeah.
So that was always an adventure, going into the porn theater.
To see the Taboo 1, 2, and 3.
But all the theaters had that old mop smell.
And everyone looked at each other crazy.
No, but you notice they sit separate. Like if you came in, you'll sit in the front of the theater, way down there. Another person will sit way in another row.
No, you wouldn't want to sit next to anybody in the theater.
Separate because they would never, a porn theater would be never packed.
Nah. They just had a bunch of space.
It's a lot of space.
And then you go from there to the peep show for 25 cents.
Yeah.
You know?
And the curtains go up to $4
Yeah,
and stuff. $5.
No, see, these are things that happened on 42nd Street when it was really not Times Square.
Yeah.
It was definitely gritty square.
But
You know
now
what I mean?
we're talking to Kool Keith, you know, a connoisseur of great horror movies. I know he's definitely a connoisseur of all levels of different porno. I remember one time I was with Kool Keith and we was in LA, and Kool Keith had a card, and we were at the mall. He probably don't remember this, but we was at the mall, and you know, he was talking to the girl. He said, you know, hand the card. He says he's a nude photographer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had the card. He said, I'm a nude photographer. Girl looked at him like, I'm not doing no nude pictures. He says, no, I'll be in the nude. I'll be butt naked. You can take the picture. I'm a nude photographer.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember I made little cards up.
Yeah, we segued from the movies into porn. And
that is movies, man. It's movies.
It is a form of movie. So your overview of the porn game now is gone downhill. There's no more stars, and it's all on the internet anyway. And that was movies. Hey, yo, this Final Level Podcast with Mick Benzo and the infamous Kool Keith, who's liable to say any motherfucking thing. This is
Don't be shocked.
Don't be shocked. There's Kool Keith there's only one in the world. Keith, what's on TV right now? This segment is television.
Well, you got a lot of shows, reality shows, basically.
How you feel about that?
It's a lot of crying. Everybody's crying. A lot of people got onions under their eyes. Everybody's a big crybaby, you know. So it's the shows look like they everybody's shaking up, everybody's crying and breaking down emotional. It seems like that's supposed to be the thing about the shows nowadays, is everybody has to cry.
Have you seen any show that stuck out to you?
No, it's no show that really stuck out. They got that other show called Date Naked. That was pretty.
Oh my God, Dating Naked.
I'm saying Date Naked was that's a little more better than all
That's
these
the
other
kind
shows.
of shit you like, though.
Well, that was cool because it's different. Every other show got the same crying and the same crying.
Mickey, do you know about Dating Naked?
Nah, I don't watch that shit.
Dating Naked. Let me break it down.
No,
Keith.
Dating Naked is like you go out and meet the person naked. And y'all have a regular conversation.
That's TV.
No, y'all go have ice
so
cream.
you watching porno on TV now?
It's not porno.
Well, it was something different. It was just something different. I necessarily didn't have to like the show, but it was a change from all that crying and everybody. And,
how you feel about Dating Naked? Would you go in there?
No, I wouldn't go on Date Naked. But I'm saying I might go in there though. You never know. I mean, it depends if you know. But
I said I wouldn't go on Dating Naked. I might go.
But I saw people. I saw it was kind of they was having a little. It was just different. You know, I guess the guy that did that just wanted to throw a monkey wrench in the whole reality show business. You know.
Yeah, you're gonna straighten it all out.
Yeah, he was just saying all the other shows is crying. They all had crying on there, and everybody's throwing a fit, and everybody's emotionally breaking down over a man, you know, and that seemed like that was a common thing.
You know, they got Naked and Afraid where they're in the woods.
Ooh.
Naked. You seen that one?
That's a reality show?
Yes, surviving. People go out in the woods. They drop a man and a woman in the woods with nothing else
to do
but
for
naked.
survival?
For 21 days.
Survival of the naked. Is that
survival of the naked? Then they got naked real estate, Mickey.
Naked real estate. When naked business people meet.
Yes.
See, they have a whole bunch of.
Well, at least they moving up. They saying, see, they ran out of reality. They had, they had the rap. They had the housewife. No, they had garbage. What? They gonna come out garbage man housewives. Housewives are all the garbage men. Police housewives.
So now
the
they gotta
mob
do it all butt
housewives.
naked.
Football players' wives. Baseball players' wives. Soccer team wives.
Army wives.
Army wives. You know,
Fireman wives.
Fireman wives. So
naked in the phrase.
They like you said, they changed. So like you said, they probably gonna do. They had to switch on
naked football players' wives.
Naked football players' wives.
Naked baseball players. This do it all naked.
They should do naked baseball players' wives now. Because
they are naked. They trying to get money.
Just do everything they ever did naked.
They tried to run with every concept they could, but they ran out. Mm-hmm. So now they got to do animal wives.
They still haven't done the Kool Keith show. They still haven't done the why haven't they done the Kool Keith reality show?
Now they do animal wives. That's different. I mean, the gorilla's wife at the zoo, his girl.
Keith, why haven't they done a TV show on you?
I don't know. Are they scared of my concepts? I think they would be scared of my concepts.
What would a Kool Keith show be like?
I'll probably do my thing. Probably like 90 girls living in one house cooking breakfast.
90 girls in one house cooking breakfast.
90 girls living in one house on their own floor, but I live on one floor by myself. But they live on one floor by themselves.
And what happens?
I just come down once in a while to see who's crying, and then I go back upstairs and I slam my door.
Somebody will be crying on your show too.
No,
Wow.
I just go there, be crying because I never come down. And I'll lock the refrigerator with locks.
You don't eat? You don't feed them?
It's called Find the Food.
Oh my God.
I just be like, my thing is when they cry, I just lock the refrigerators.
Hey, let me tell you people out there, if you listening to podcasts, if you got anything to do with reality television, if you want a show that's going to hit, come get Kool Keith and just videotape this nigga. Just hang with him on the adventures of Kool Keith. I always said we should do a show. I have an idea for a show for you. I'm not going to give it away, but using all your characters and all that stuff. I always said this dude right here.
But I don't want to interact
we laughing and joking.
I don't want to interact with him though. I want to stay in one room and close the door. I just want to. I want to put a little. You know, I want to do put a little window.
Would you talk?
I want to put a little window through my door.
Would you talk to him like Saw? Like Saw that voice?
Yeah, like Saw. Like I just talk to a loudspeaker. Set up a speaker out that goes out to the living room. But I don't want that. Mean you don't. That mean you don't have no interacting at all with them. You don't see them. They just like the Wizard of Oz. You was behind the curtain. And
you just tell them tasks
things and stuff like that, and you don't never be seen.
No, in all actuality,
but you can come down once in a while.
Keith, I think that anybody out there that got any good sense should give you a TV show because you're a motherfucking TV star and they just don't know it.
Right.
And it would be called Kool Keith Upstairs.
Upstairs, that never come. I come down once in a while.
And that was TV. Yo, this is 5 Level Podcast number 25 with Mick Benzo and the one and only Kool Keith. This segment is one of the favorites on the show. It's called I'm Not a Hater,
But I Hate Shit.
You know what I hate, Mick?
What you hate this week, baby?
I hate this whole Ebola shit. I hate the fact that, they're trying to terrify people with Ebola. We know where Ebola comes from, but I think that, it gets too much hype as far as the whole United States thing, and I think it can be solved simply by getting the correct doctors to Africa.
Does it come from Africa?
Yeah, it comes from Africa. And I talked to an African brother the other day, and I said, yo, man, what does the Ebola say? He said, ICE. There will always be Ebola as long as people out there eating bushmeat.
Bushmeat?
And that basically means the people in Africa, these poor people, are eating stuff that we normally wouldn't eat. Maybe they eating bats. Maybe they eating things from the jungle.
Right.
And this disease reportedly comes from that. All diseases usually come from poverty. They come from...
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
they had the monkey.
Right.
They had the monkey thing too.
Yeah, it comes from like smallpox. All that comes from poverty, which ends up being, unsanitary situations.
Right.
I just think that right now, every time you hear something, there's an Ebola scare here in New York with somebody at Bellevue with it, I think they're just, necessarily just blowing it out of proportion.
Well,
why would we bring them from Africa over to the United States
and not treat them
if they have it? If we can treat it, why don't we send a few of our people over to contain it instead of bringing it into the United States?
Well, you know what? That's my point. And I heard Richard Branson speak about it. He said that, they need to deal with Ebola like it's a potential war. We need to go ahead and get the right specialists over there, set up, a hospital or something, a triage scenario where people over there that have it, because you can't just let it go. And you can't just shut people down from coming here, because some people aren't diagnosed with it till they get here.
But we allow it to come into the United States, and then we say we'll check you when you get here. And by that time, if you're here, then it infects other people.
Yeah, but how do they don't know who? You just can't say if you're from West Africa, you can't come here, because now you're creating some other bullshit, which turns into another warped form of racism. And, you from Africa, you can't come to the United States. It's one of those things where if you haven't been diagnosed with it, then you come here and they find out you have it. But what you were saying earlier is some people are being diagnosed with it in Africa.
We're bringing them here
because they're United States citizens. Now, the scary part to me with the Ebola scare was when they did get them here and they still died. Because we know we got the best doctors in the world. True. So if they couldn't shut it down, I'm just really like right now. I hate Ebola. I hate the problems that it's causing. And I know it's a major issue. And
is it from a food?
It's the
no,
food.
He's just saying
America throws so much food away. How come they can't fly the stuff that they throw away in America away? I mean, I see McDonald's throw away Big Macs and Popeyes throw away so much chicken every night. How come that food can't be flown down to Africa?
So the people can get
so they can get a real meal versus eating bats.
America throws food away. And
snails and things that they have to eat.
Because at the bottom of the game, what happens is people feel like if the problem is way over here, it doesn't affect me. But
if it doesn't affect them, why do we bring it back over here to try to contain it or send our people over there to try to make sure it doesn't get here?
A problem in the Bronx is going to end up becoming a problem on the Upper East Side if you don't deal with it. You can't just think that, hey, well, it's their problem and it'll never get to us.
No. I didn't say it was our problem.
It's the world's problem.
We just said we throw away enough food in the United States each night.
Right.
From every restaurant. Why can't y'all bag that up, put that in a box, and send that over there so people can eat a little healthier instead of eating snails and bats and worms and things in that effect. Then we wait till it happens and we say, but they're eating wrong, and when they can stop doing it, they can't afford not to eat right if they don't have it.
Well,
we're throwing shit away.
You're absolutely correct. I just think that right now, they were able to eradicate smallpox. There's been a lot of diseases that we've been able to, get rid of. Polio. Now you have polio vaccines and stuff. I think they got to go nip it in the bud. I think all the great physicians and all the great medical minds need to go to where it's coming from and handle it in Africa and just
I like
stop
what you're saying, but you got to start on one thing. You ain't got the damn medicine to cure AIDS right now, and now you're coming with something else.
Well, they've been able, but see, they've been able to actually
contain it.
They've been able to actually, people that have showed with Ebola and caught early stages, they've been able to save a few lives.
Early detection.
So, what we always talk about on your show. Male awareness.
Detection.
So, so my thing is that don't just get upset with Ebola when it comes to the United States. If we don't have anyone in the United States with it right now, that doesn't mean we've cured it. It just means it's still in Africa. Now we need to go attack it in Africa, try to knock it out right where it comes from, and just get that disease off the plate if it's possible.
We got to contain it at least.
If it's possible. And I hate the fact that, people seem like they can't handle the problem when they know it's just money. it's this aid and let's go get Ebola off the map before, because that's a serious disease.
Let's help human beings, America.
Just Google the Black Plague, Google typhoid, Google smallpox, and see what those outbreaks ended up costing. Millions of people died. So
you just want to wait.
Yeah, or you're going to wait until we have a full-blown epidemic. I hate that shit. I'm not a hater, but I hate Ebola and the way they're handling Ebola. Before we get into the music segment, let's take a second to talk about Audible. You can get great titles such as my new Dungeons & Dragons book, Comrades at Odds, A Tale from the Legend of Drizzt, my autobiography, Ice, From South Central to Hollywood, and Prodigy from Mob's Deep book, my infamous book. Audible is a longtime supporter of the podcast, and you need to check them out. They're the world's leading provider of audiobooks with over 150,000 titles to choose from. You can even listen to audiobooks anywhere. They have whisper sync technology to make sure you never lose your place when you switch devices. It even lets you switch between listening to an audiobook and reading an ebook on your Kindle. That's the business. For a free audiobook and 30-day trial, go to audible.com/iced. That's audible.com/ICET. You'll be saving money and you'll be helping to keep the podcast free. Thanks again to Audible. Yo, so this is Ice-T, Final Level Podcast number 25 with the infamous, my boy, Kool Keith. Keith.
Yeah.
Most people came in contact with you through Ultramagnetic MCs. Was that the first time you ever recorded?
That was my me and Seth went to school together. We went to Clinton High School.
DeWitt Clinton.
Went to DeWitt Clinton High School, and then we went over there to Webster Avenue where Sed's brother had equipment, and we ended up going over there. I found out I was over there with this guy named Mike, took me up there, and we was up there recording the song solo, and then Sed walked in the house like about 2 hours later. I said, "This your brother's house?" But I knew Miller was a basketball player, and then, the Millers, Patrick had equipment, Sed's brother had equipment, and then that was the place called, where we recorded, and KRS and them was up there, but they was not Boogie Down Productions. They was Celebrity 3. They was called Celebrity 3. They used to come up there. The Mastermind Productions was the name of the house, and it was an apartment in the projects in Washington Avenue, and it was called Mastermind Productions, and keyboard Money Mike and Patrick was Sed's brother, was an R&B dude. So he didn't believe, he said he would sacrifice his R&B career to put out Ultramagnetic as the first as a rap group. We originally I was supposed to be solo, but the Ultramagnetic deal was to come out and be together till we go solo. That was the compromise I had to take.
I knew you from being a dancer.
Yeah,
before
but I was
Ultra, though.
I was dancing before Ultra with Shaq Crew and Loose Bruce and stuff, and we used to battle Fable and Mr. Wiggles and all of them. But then I stopped dancing and went into the music.
Okay, now I saw Kool Keith. I seen the Ultramagnetics. Then I was doing my research, and I saw a show on Scott LaRock, and that's when Sed G was working with Scott and them back in the days. Is that true?
Yeah, well, they didn't have they was in Boogie Down Productions. They was Celebrity 3 MC. Yeah, Sed would program like the beats for them, and make just the beats, and they would put stuff on top. Sed was the programmer for them, basically. Sed would program their beats, but they would play the topping parts on their beats.
Okay, so you got Sed G making beats. You meet Sed G. They say, okay, we're going to do a Kool Keith solo thing, but let's do this Ultramagnetic situation. So where did Mo Love and TR Love come from?
Oh, Mo was Sed's cousin in Brooklyn, and Trevor used to just have records, and he ended up with us as a person that just kept coming around, and they just said, let's put him down because his aunt owned a record shop. So we said, we need your records.
Right?
We need your records.
This is classic hip hop right here. This is how the group became.
We said, so we said we need your records.
Right?
So yeah. Yeah, so TR lived in Parkchester. So what happened was we formed the group with 4 people. I was I named the group. And Sad was the beat programmer, Mo was the DJ, and TR supplied the beats. So we had 4 people working to get that group together. I was the mind frame of. I bought most of the hits. I found Ego Trippin' vinyl, the Substitution. I found the Joe Cocker, and all the hit records they had. I gave them records to loop and sample, but I couldn't work no drum machine.
I can't neither, Keith. Now. I'm listening to you talk. You said you came with the name. What does ultramagnetics mean?
Well, ultra was what? Ultra was highest, and then magnetic was to attract the people. Ultra magnetic. Let's go high to attract. So
you know what? I've never known. Did you know that, Mickey?
Nope.
And we was the only one that had a name. Only group that had a name that made us think a little bit was Stetsasonic. That was it. Everybody else, we didn't care about their names, We didn't care.
I don't even know what Stetsasonic means.
Yeah. The only group that was, but that people used to get us mixed up in the streets. They said, ain't you from that group, Stetsasonic, Stetsasonic, Ultramagsonic? Like, so it got a little complicated. So we just kept it at that, but we started to just say Ultra, but the magnetic became so much.
Now, when I listen to Ultramagnetic, when you listen to Ego Trippin', the style is different. Lots of different words, lots of different styles, not your basic stuff. Was that basically like was Sed already rapping like that, or was that you rubbing off on?
Well, what
Sed?
happened was I couldn't rhyme. I couldn't rhyme, but I had a rhythm. At first, one time. And then I remember sometime the Treacherous 3 was different. Like, I used to listen to Special K, and he used to be like sometimes I used to listen to, what's that, Gotta Rock? Mm-hmm. And that middle verse, I used to be like, this motherfucker ain't rhyming. Like, his rhymes is not like, none of these words are matching. And then I was saying, well, I said, when we got together, then we heard, we heard T. La Rock came out with Annihilating. We heard, all the big words was coming out. So I said, everybody was making a rhyme. T. La Rock was in the Asians, and, LL was probably doing, education, fornication, potable, everybody was in the rations.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But so I said, I'm gonna go left.
Right.
And just put words that don't go together and make them not rhyme all the way down.
Right.
And that shit, I thought that was a kamikaze leap out a building. I had to do.
You're gonna die. You're
right.
Either gonna
so
hit
it was like they're gonna say this motherfucker's whack. His career's over. He's not rhyming. So that was a suicide jump off the Empire State Building, and that shit worked.
Right.
And people was like, "Yo, this motherfucker is not rhyming on the song," and the shit got hot. Like,
what is a word for?
Because it was so fucking like retarded that people was like, this motherfucker's using 80-foot words that don't go together, and he making this shit fit.
Well, you know what it is, Keith? Hold up. In poetry, and I'm gonna say this word wrong, but it's a thing called iambic pentameter, which basically means with poetry. Now I know that I didn't say the word right, so none of you motherfuckers even try to correct me, but you know the word I'm trying to say. It's where as long as the poetry lands on the beat, it's still poetry. And really, somebody told me rhyming is the lowest form of poetry. So if you really read like Edgar Allan Poe, or you read these other great poets, it's not in rhyme. It's just the words flow in a certain beat and a rhythm that make it poetry.
So I'm saying for our listeners, I'm trying to figure out what Keith meant when he said he didn't rhyme, and You just did shit.
Well,
like what?
Just give me.
I did something to try to stand out from. You had different kwanzas of different stanzas.
Give me an example.
Like Rakim was doing double words. He was doing the flow into. I got a jump, go into. I low into. Everybody was, he was doing the doubles. Then somebody else was doing the Asians, and Big Daddy Kane was doing, here to bring trouble too. Phony MCs. I bring, Bubble You. His stuff was ending on the ends, and
right.
So I was like, I gotta get in there somehow that where they'll be like, this is retarded. Like, it just made everybody say, yo, because people would walk up to me in the street and say, yo, you're not rhyming though. And
I'd be like, Keith, what do you mean? I want to hear one. Just give me a little piece of one. What do you mean?
That second verse was like choosing scientific matter, I probe for evidence, leading melodies, obtaining slight positive beams. Slight positive beams of the average formulation applied mechanically. Like none of that shit was going together. Like right. I was like, I'm a fool.
But it's on beat.
Yeah.
Right. It matches.
It matches the beat.
So I was fooling these motherfuckers. Like
it was riding well though.
Yeah. So we had gotten to a point like we made a couple records like that, but it was a point, like I said, I'm going to have to rhyme soon because I'm not going to get away with this for long.
You knew it.
Yeah.
You knew it.
So I took it as far as I could, but with Ego Trippin' being the first song, that blew it out because that was like a big project record for it to be so scientific. Mm-hmm. Like I would walk through projects and you see dudes sitting on the car, you walk past Patterson, dudes be like, MC Voltron. Like as soon as I walk past, Mitchell's, dudes would be sitting on their cars, like they go MC Voltron. And then what happened?
Can I ask another question on that record? Who's saying the word? Who's saying
that was Keyboard Money Mike. They ran his voice through like some type of effect to make him sound like that, that MC Ultra. But they had toned his voice down. They made it like that was an accident too. They just turned him like
that. I'm gonna tell you like this. Let me say something.
Because that was a chorus that nobody would do.
To me, is one of the funkiest hip hop records of all time. Just because you got substitution, boom, boom, pop. Then that shit.
Well, when I know when it was hot, when I was like, you live in the projects and you sleeping in your bed and you look out your window, you see a Spanish kid walking down the street with that shit going boom, boom, back to boom, 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 MC Ultra. He's walking up the block and he don't even know you live in the building. Or you see a car go by. But then it started picking up. I knew it was hot when I just started seeing a car go by, MC Ultra. Somebody walk by the radio, MC Ultra. Then you see another dude come by, another car. Then you hear the radio. Like, you started hearing it.
Oh, no, it's in the streets.
Yeah, it was in the streets. It was like, I felt the vibe when I was walking through different projects. I walk through Webster, I go through Boston Road, I go through Bronx River. That's MC Voltron. Like, and it was funny. We didn't have no videos, and I was like, how do people recognize who you are? Like,
trip off this, Keith.
Yeah.
When I came out to New York to do my first album, Eric B and Rakim had just dropped, and I was in Harlem, and every car that went by was playing. I came in the door. I said it before.
And that's what we wanted to try to like.
And it was everywhere. And I'm like, wow. I said to myself, that's a hot.
I can contest to that.
That record was playing everywhere all day.
And that's what made us... That's what made us really get inspired to go do Ultra. I said, whoever made that record, because I was in the Bronx, I got tired of hearing, I'm like, I never let the mic magnetize me no more. I'm like, every car going by, and the other one, and the check out my melody, you hearing that. So I was telling Seth, we gotta do something now. We gotta do something because it was like a chance to get in there because, it was nothing out right there to go behind it.
Right, to fit with it.
You know what I'm saying? And like, it was funny how all them records came in and fitted. Like it was, like now you got like, 200 hits that come out at the same time, but they not hits. They just forced down your throat on the radio.
Right.
But now them records was coming in like, you hear The Bridge with Shan, then the Boogie Down, South Bronx, like all them records squeezed in real slow behind each other. Like, Ultra was in there So you didn't have a bunch of force down your throat hits. They was just street, like you said, streets. You hear them like numerous cars be driving by with them records playing.
But you know what? You guys have that part in hip hop that nobody can ever take away from you. The Ultramagnetic MCs that hit back in the golden era of hip hop, and you know when we showed you in the Art of Rap, when that record comes on, everybody's like, "Oh shit, I know that." Now let's fast forward. Ultramagnetics did they thing, you know, Ease Back, you know, all the records I love, all the good shit.
Yeah.
Now Kool Keith is now going solo. You start to make records on your own. What possessed you to do so many different people?
Well, I had to leave Ultra because my work ethics, which I had told Mick a long time ago, my work ethics was so amazing, and you know I was a workaholic. You know, I wrote so many projects that I was so behind. I had to name them different things so to get them out. And
you did the Sextile album in L.A.
Yeah, when I came to L.A., I had the feeling of being in L.A. The album was L.A., the cover was L.A., like the whole background of L.A. And you know, it's funny, when I went to L.A., I didn't feel like an underground rapper at all. I felt like I had a major record deal, but I was underground. But Sextile, you know, when I saw you out there, I came out there, when I did Sextile, I felt like I was signed to like I was Usher or something. Cause I didn't go through the protocols of the underground stuff. Right. You know, Project Blow, they did have that stuff out there. Remember Bigger B and the Backpack? When I left New York, I said, New York is backpack enough for me. If I go anywhere else, I'm going to go higher. Mm-hmm. But I didn't do the underground of L.A. I was in L.A., like you said. I was living the Sextile album, going to Century Club, and like you said, buying me some clothes from the Beverly Center. Like, I took that album more like it was a accomplishment.
Okay, the next thing you know, I get a call from these niggas, and at that time he was hanging out with my homie Pimpin' Rex, who had sung the Pusher Man hook, and they say, we got a concept, we're going to do this thing called Analog Brothers. So they come over my house, and Pimpin' Rex is like, I'm doing all the music, right? And at that time we had Silver, who was hanging around us. We had Mark Live, who was hanging around us, and, you know, friends, and they go, we're going to do Analog Brothers. So I'm like, okay, how are we going to do it? We need to use your studio. I'm like, okay. So now they're downstairs, and they say, we're going to put up the beats. You just come in, do your 16 bars, and just walk out. And different songs you'll be on, and different songs you won't. So we go in there, and every day I would come down there, Keith would be sitting in the corner in my little black chair, writing some crazy shit. And we put that record together in 1 week.
1 week. When there was a challenge, because we wrote the album, because it was like, the way your studio was like a spaceship. So we all had this mind like we were in a big ship. Like we was in Star Trek, like, you know, Captain Kirk and Scotty and everybody's on the USS Air Enterprise. So we wrote the album. We used to turn out the lights in the dark and act like we was in space listening to the songs. And I remember when I brought Menelik up there, he said, I played one of them, Octagon song. He said, hold up, I gotta do something. Turn all the lights out. We're in the pitch black in the dark, just looking at the computer running, but hearing the lyrics was so that
the view of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, that you felt like we felt like we was in space.
Yeah, because we was up on the hill. You remember the house, man?
Yeah.
And you look out and it looked like you were in a spaceship.
In space.
So he said, these records take me out into the fucking planet. So turn the lights off. I remember that we mandatorily turned the lights off when we started playing the records because it just gave us a feel. But then the album was great. We did the album. It sounded
We did
so
the album
wild.
cover. Look, check out this. So I named the album. They let me name the album. I said, let's call it Pimp to Eat, right? Because it was on some pimp shit. And I'm like, the ultimate pimping is just pimping because you're hungry. Like, we got to get some food. So we decided to go try to shoot an album cover. So we all got all this shit on. Remember this, Keith?
Yeah.
And then we
went to a supermarket.
There was a supermarket, right? So we don't know what the album cover is going to be. And then all of a sudden, we were walking down the aisle. We all just started boosting shit. Like, Keith grabbed some cereal or something, and I grabbed some
rice,
and we just looked like we were. I had on a red fur coat,
right.
And we all looked like we were stealing out the supermarket. And they took the picture, and then they put space behind us, down the aisle.
But the album was called Analog because it was made with all the old keyboards from the past.
So I was Ice Oscillator.
Yeah, and I was Keith Korg, Silver B, Silver Synth,
Mark Moog.
Yeah, Rex Roland. So it was the name of all the old synthesizers.
We did one show, and that was it. I think we did one performance, somewhere. And people still today are like, yo, another Analog Brothers album.
And they still sell that album now. People love that album all over because of the way it was made. It wasn't meant to be made, then it was made. It was like an accident.
At one
album.
time, you were signed to 2 labels at the same time.
Well, Black Elvis and Dr. Octagon was like, I was with Sony and DreamWorks at the same time. I had more deals than any rapper, I think.
But I'm saying, though, how can you be on 2 labels at the same time?
I didn't really care. I changed my name. I changed my name. That's one thing I think I did out of all these rappers that I came up from the past and the early 80s and the 90s. But yeah, Black Elvis was a big album. Dr. Octagon was a big album. I had Dr. Doom. Sometimes I had labels signed to independent records. I had records signed to Traffic and records signed to Speed. I didn't care what label it was. I was signed. I put some on Sony. I put one on, and I remember I used to try to get deals. They'd be like, "Hey, you have too many records out. You have too many labels. You're on too many labels. You're signed to too many labels." And I couldn't get a deal after a while. They were like, "You're signed to like too many labels." I mean,
now let me ask you a question on some other shit. Me and Mark live, Mark was hype man for me. Me and him are good friends, I met him, love Mark. A lot of people call Mark my son. But he was out working with you, and he said one night, tell me, is this true? He said you guys were doing a show, and you decided you was going to miss the show because you wanted to go see 8 Mile.
What happened was
what
happened? Jeremy Lorna. I was in San Francisco.
Okay, tell the story.
And I said, Jeremy, I need a coat before this show, and I I'm good for the money because, I make the money every night. I make whatever $6,000 or $7,000 a night from the Black Elvis. So I said, just get me the coat. I'll pay you tomorrow morning. So he said, "No, Keith, I'm not going to get you the coat." I said, Jeremy, I need the money. I said, I tell you what, if you don't get me the coat, you won't see me tonight. And then he said, I know you don't play with me like that. Don't play with me. I said, okay. I said, you're not going to see me tonight. If you don't want to get the coat, you're not going to see me tonight. He says, whatever, fuck you. I said, okay, you're not going to see me tonight. So what I did was I went to this girl's house in San Francisco the night of the show. I said, this guy don't believe me. I told this girl, Mark said, you doing the show? I said, Mark, I'm not doing the show. I'm going to the movies. The show was packed, line around the corner, people ready to go. The guy's nervous. Everybody's saying people is ready. The tickets are there. Everything's a good all go. I'm at the movies watching, I forgot what movie was
I
out.
went to see 8 Mile.
I went to see 8 Miles.
With a 40.
With a 40 ounce.
With a 40.
I had bought a 40 ounce, and I said, fuck you guys. I said, he said, then he called me on the phone, Keith, I'll buy you the coat, whatever you need. I said, don't worry, I'm watching the movie. I'll see you in the morning. And he said,
True story.
And then people were saying that Tim ran up there. It was, remember that you got that text in the morning about the robbery in San Francisco?
Yeah.
It said Tim Dog came up there and robbed the club and took the box office money, which didn't happen. They figured they was just mad. I didn't show up, so they made up a story. And you got that message in the morning. Kool Keith robs San Francisco nightclub.
Well, you know what it is? I've been close to Ultramagnetics, and people don't know. They don't understand the bond, but I just love Keith. Keith is my man.
Keith is dope.
And we've been
Keith
friends
is
above and beyond music, you know what I'm saying? So, I know Keith, and that's just my dude. So people are like, well, Ice-T, you do the gangster rap. Keith does this. How does it work? And I'm like, I'm a musician. I just like music. We can do it. We can go in all different directions. So let's talk about the new project. Let me say something. I get a call And then Keith was like, yo, Ice, I got some tracks. You know, I'm doing this new thing. I got one called Haterproof I want you on. And I'm there.
Right. Well, after Said didn't show me how to produce for a while, I got into producing. But I was producing since Dr. Doom. I played a lot of the bass lines on Octagon album.
Number one producer.
Yeah. So I started doing the number one producer stuff. So I got into programming, learning Pro Tools, learning how to program. I seen a lot of the producers, and I'm like you was talking one time before about the music don't match what you're saying. I got tired of sometimes producers not making a sound that match the definition of what I'm saying. Like I wanted to, like you said, James Brown is the best example when he made remember he made that movie with the God, remember what was it called? That gangster movie, Black Caesar? The soundtrack matched the movie. I just thought a lot of these producers could never match some type of thing that you rapping about. So I started doing my own beats to match the background of what I'm talking about.
Right, because you need that so we can get off into what we're trying to say.
I got tired of that. Like, because I always said a producer sometimes is good, but they're not. Like, like you live in L.A., people got lowriders, you riding through South Central. A person in another state sometimes might not feel your feel. Or you getting off a bus, you just came from grimy New York, and then you landing in maybe a sunny city, and a producer got a beat. He's making a beat for that sunny atmosphere that he's in. But you might have got off you got on the plane and flew off from like 0 degrees. Somebody got shot. Somebody got thrown off a building. You ain't ready to hear that type of environment of music.
So since we did do some songs together, I think we should try. Can we debut any of that stuff tonight?
Of course.
Okay, now we're going to go off into this song me and Kool Keith did. It's called Haterproof. Mickey.
Song 1, Ice-T and Kool Keith. Haterproof. Check this shit out.
Number one producer. Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16. I'm Gene Weinstein in the Cadillac, only 16. I made Mike slap the shit out of Mitch Green, who wanna set a big screen and watch me leap over bullshit real quick, leave him poking out like Angelina Jolie's lips. Really a lot, goddammit. Many can come in and see me on Broadway recording. I'm Sir Mix. Cut the pants off your ass real perfect. Seam up your butt crack, you might want it double knitted. The girls handle the balls clear and vivid. Ask Maria, I can splatter diarrhea on the lyrics. Get your virgin ears accustomed to hearing it. Shit so hard on these kids, you might want to change your appearance. Wiggling in your lane, I'm doing some reckless and careless steering. I go by a speaker hooked up, blowing out your anal. I can flip those niggas upside down on the skillet. Burn cash up in the stove for 75 minutes. 6 million crispy, bitch. No gimmicks. Bored as hell with a rabbit. Eating carrots. Holler back if you live in it. Action right hand glove holding the soap dove. I deserve the benefits. I choose to put harsh words in them generics. Donkey tail, they can pin the threats. Throw balls in your mouth like the New York Mets. Pubic hair maintenance well kept. Ice coming in from T-Net. Jersey, nigga. Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16.
Motherfucking shit already know this. Me and Keith in the booth. Haterproof. In the candy caddy with the gator roof. I see you jocking our first bitch, they saber tooth. Don't lie to the youth, hater, say the truth. Magnificent, my reps mythological. Tux and formal, just flew past you in the paranormal. You can't see me or be me, you're miserable. I'm on a whole nother level, kid, invisible. You hate my pad so bad, I had to get gates. I talk so heavy, you might wanna lift weights. At 30,000 feet, hater, I can't hear ya. Down on the streets of my wolves, nigga, I don't fear ya. It can happen any night. I keep a team of killers begging for a green light. You want it, it's nothing, you'll get it for frontin'. I call it, it happens, the coroner's coming. True baller for real, my rapping secondary. Ask your mom and your dad, my game is legendary. They'll tell you, Ice is that dude. Legend is he eats haters for food. Keith hit me on the jack, said he had a track called Haterproof, 22 bars. We crashed the studio in 22 cars. Haters eat a dick, you know who we are.
Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16. Haterproof. Cadillac 16.
Yo, that was Haterproof, man, and that's.
Hey, yo, hold on. That shit, Keith is definitely. Yo, I mean, he just does shit he likes to do, man.
It's unique.
I like the
he does shit like, yo, that shit was kind of hype, but goddamn, Keith, you are fucking crazy with it, B.
Well, I still like to stay creative. And plus that keeps me sharp, just making songs. I have a bunch of songs now. I record all the time. I just keep recording. I'm a recordaholic.
I like that.
No, that's Haterproof.
Well, it's good having you on the podcast, baby. You a friend and a family member.
Yeah.
And we gonna always be close. You know, we got to do more music and stuff. Who knows? We might have to create a new band, another group.
Well, that's another thing too. The people from the past, why they so limited of their, making songs. I think music is forever. I don't think there's no limit of when you can make music or create or feel creative. I think it's good to feel musically inclined all the time.
Before we get out of the ice, man, I want to ask Keith a question. Have you ever worked with a rock group?
Yeah, of course. I work with so many rock bands. I mean, you go down the list. Maroon 5. I worked with Prodigy. I worked with all the rock bands.
So you did that song "Smack Your Bitch Up"?
Yeah, that was. I mean, I have a big rock lineup of rock bands I work with. Hopefully I get on the body count. Hopefully I get on more of these rock bands. I think I'm the only rapper that kind of crossed into the. I can go on a rock tour and do my whole catalog. Well, Dr. Octagon kind of was crossed over into that rock genre. It draws a rock crowd for some reason.
Definitely.
I don't know why though.
Well, because it's Dr. Octagon and Menelik. It's crazy shit, And
but why did a rap album?
I'm deeper than everybody. I got Dr. Nagato. Do you know what Dr. Nagato is, Mickey?
I don't know what that one is.
That was Octagon spelled backwards, and it's another album.
That's another fucking Kool Keith special.
Dr. Nagato. You know about that, Dr. Nagato.
I know about that, and that's what's up. Okay, right now we're about to go into this segment, and this segment is called Philosophy. Philosophy segment is brought to you by Final Level, my Final Level Twitter page, and I call it the Daily Game. And the Daily Game recently was average ain't gonna get it. That's the philosophy.
Gotta be above average?
Well, I believe that if you want an okay life, then you put out okay effort.
Right.
If you want an ordinary life, you do ordinary things. If you want an extraordinary life, it's basically extraordinary.
You sound like a parent that tells me, I scored an 85 and I thought I did good. You said, no, give me a 95.
Because ordinary ain't going to get it. There's different levels of life. And if you want an ordinary life, then you put out an ordinary...
just passing mode, right.
Just passing mode. But people out here want something special. They want they want the big life. They want that. And people that get that really bust their ass. It's gonna, and you knew when you came in the rap game, you were saying it, Keith, you knew ordinary wasn't gonna get it. Can you build on a Daily Game?
Yeah, I mean, I found out that me making music when I was in LA, when I was with the Octagon project and, living in Los Angeles, it gave me a different sight when I left the Bronx. I mean, when you leave the things that you used to do, then you go to restaurants and stuff that you thought you would never go in. it was a challenge because things made it seem like, well, I wouldn't walk in this restaurant if I was living another way. Mm-hmm. But after you did that, you feel like you used to that. So you don't have to do it no more. Like you went into a restaurant that you thought you would never eat in. You went into a restaurant that you thought you would never open that door. You felt you couldn't afford it. You felt
But you also said earlier that the reason you left Ultra or moved on was your work ethic.
Oh yeah,
what I think what we're saying here is, I understand what you're saying is once you leave the ordinary, it's hard to go back to the ordinary. But what I'm more talking about is
your conditions,
your effort,
your effort. The person is saying instead of getting a B or A, let's get on the
people that think they're going to win by being average.
I was challenged by everything that I did. Like, I mean, I have to admit, honestly, everybody that was around me when like you said, when I made the funky ass cover. I remember I showed you the record going through the girl's booty. Like, I had people down in that stuff. Like, you know, I had people around me down in every little thing that I made, every cover, you know, every thing that I wanted to do. From the shirt to advertisement to me being Dr. Octagon, people said that ain't gonna be it. To the way I was rhyming, to what I was gonna wear, cape, whatever. Everybody shot it down.
But the reason you're known is because you're not
different.
Ordinary.
You made it to the Dean's List, baby. That's the A+.
You know one of my favorite Kool Keith quotes?
What's that?
He told me something. He said, he probably don't even remember, but he told me, he said, if you want to be original, look and see what everyone else is doing, and don't do that. You know, you know, it's like try to find. And I tell rappers and I tell people all the time, try to find your own lane, and then you're gonna have to do a little bit more than what everyone else is doing if you want a little bit more out of life.
Yeah, like they scared to take a chance.
Well,
like I said, when I did that first rhyme in my life on Ego Trip, and that was taking a chance, and they were scared to be unordinary.
No, you far from ordinary.
I'm saying they were scared to be more. They were scared to be that person. They were scared to be that person. You know.
How did the rest of the group feel? Okay, you guys, I'm gonna do this record. We're going to put the hell of a most funky beat on in the world, but we're not going to sound like anybody else. A matter of fact, we're not going to rhyme. What was the room? Was everybody with you, or they thought that was suicide?
We just went in like suicide. We went in suicide. We just went in like we always get ready to get on a plane and jump out. Like,
you dope,
we just said we going to do it like this.
I respect Kool Keith, nigga. You unique, brother.
People got to respect it. Mike Tyson
You made it to the Dean's List, baby. You're on the Dean's List.
Mike Tyson said one time, he said, people don't pay to see normal. You know, have the courage to be unique. Have the courage to, you know, don't do what you see everybody. You don't have to dress like everybody else.
I look at, like, even fashion and stuff like that. You got to take a chance sometimes. People were scared to, like, you know, everything you did was different. Even the records you was making, you said you didn't care. Some people don't want to take a chance. They just feel like being safe is the best way out.
Well, like I even say, when you watch even something as stupid as what's the ones where they sang the contest? No, the contest.
Voices?
The Voice or whatever they always say. Yeah. You know, you took a risk.
Right. Why wouldn't I?
You know, you took a risk with that record. That's what people respect. They respect risks. They do not respect you doing something safe. Ordinary.
Like if I came out and sang New York by Frank Sinatra, that's not going to get me
normal.
Anywhere.
That's normal. We expect that.
Take it someplace I haven't heard it.
Do something that they don't think you're going to do, and do it your way, not the way it's done. You done it your way. You did it the Frank Sinatra way, Keith. You did it your way, G.
And you know what?
And it's dope.
So today's philosophy is ordinary is not going to get it. You are going to have to be extraordinary, or what I said is it's just basic. It's
what
just
about
not enough.
What about somebody that's ordinary and they think they're different?
Well, no, I think
like a lot of artists out there are ordinary, but they think they're different.
They're ordinary. They can think all they want. They can think all they want.
We twisted the daily game. It's really average is not enough.
Average not enough.
Average is not enough. You got to be above average.
That's why I said the Dean's List. I don't need an A. I need an A+.
If you're a pro football player, those guys are pros because they're not the average football player. They are above average. That's where the winners are. You have to push past that average thing and take it to another level. Mm-hmm. That's the key, and it requires a lot of extra work. Mickey will tell you. People always come at Mickey, and they say, well, ice this, ice that. And Mickey says, that man works.
Different. Works hard, B. Earns everything he got. What I told you earlier, nobody never gave this motherfucking nothing over there, B.
I know Ice was went through a lot of stuff.
Earned it all,
from
B.
the past.
You know, I mean, we talk, but again, daily game, let's make the Dean List, man.
Yeah, average is not going to get it. Hey, yo, this is Ice-T, Mick Benzo. We are doing the Final Level Podcast number 25 with Kool Keith, who is on the line.
Hey, this is Salome from LA.
Hey, Salome, what's happening? What you want to talk about?
Yeah, I wanted to talk to Kool Keith. I'm a really, really big fan of yours. I love your music. It's like super hot and like fun and like some really like weird, sexy shit I can like listen to like with someone I'm dating and like give them some ideas and, you know, we can laugh it off at the same time. I love your music so much.
Right. Well, I guess my albums are always turned on through a friend, huh? Like it's always like something like that. People get onto it from a boyfriend or a girlfriend. My music gets through very intimately through people, you know?
Totally.
But that's good, right?
Yeah, I love that. I love it. I can't find any other music like yours that I love. Like I'm a big fan. Mm-hmm.
What do you have a favorite record?
I like the Dr. Octagon record.
Oh shit.
With Dan the Automator.
Right. Yeah, that's a one-time thing. That's like a classic album that I have under my belt also. Dr. Octagon.
Blue Flowers
is a big record for me. I mean,
yeah.
And I like Dr. Octagon. It was a masterpiece record because even what was that like 3000, you know, that one Earth People, that was made with the Houdini sample under it. You know that, you didn't notice that, right, Ice?
Nah.
The drums, you know, Friends. The drums is on Earth People, you know, that's the drums. Yeah.
Well, I know that Dr. Octagon record with Menelek. I mean, the one thing about that record I know is crazy. Is it possible to do it live?
Like with a band or something?
No, like certain records. The way you guys were talking on it. Can you reproduce it, or was that just a one-time thing in the studio?
I'll try to do it again?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that again. I think it was the vibe and the feeling.
You can't do a show with
that album. No, you can do a show with it. I perform it and stuff.
What songs can you perform off of there?
I mean, I'm always doing "Girl, Let Me Touch You." I do "Blue Flowers." I mean, I used to do "Earth People" and then I forgot the lyrics. Sometimes that album goes in. That album goes in and out.
It goes in and out of your brain.
We're remembering because we wrote so advanced.
Wow.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's what I got.
Because people could remember something people could remember something easy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling the lady, people could remember something easy, but something hard that was worked on is very hard, and people don't believe that.
Well, that's cool.
I went out with Keith, right, and we did a Nike private party, and the female were yelling out, "Do the record, drink my piss, drink my piss." I couldn't understand it.
Well, I have a lot of bizarre records that people tend to like.
Okay. Well, you're one of those ladies, am I correct?
No comment. No comment.
Hey, well, thank you for calling into the podcast, all right, and giving Kool Keith that love. We appreciate it.
Hey, I got a question, though. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, so I have a question. So I'm trying to, get into this industry where, I, go on dates with people with more money and standing in society than I have. and that kind of thing. And I have one like major concern, which is how to like, because I know I'm going to be going to parties and whatnot, and I'm kind of concerned about how I can let people down that I'm not really necessarily interested in, or I shouldn't be talking to in a polite way.
Whoa, pause. Okay, so what you're saying is you're out now, you're trying to make it. What industry are you trying to make it in?
Like escorting.
Oh,
that's why she likes you. So what you're trying to say is you're out here doing your escort work and guys are falling in love?
Yes.
Well, that's a problem a lot of women wish they had. that they could go out with guys and every guy would fall in love. I mean, I think your job is basically very simple. It's strictly business. And, of course, if you got somebody that you're trying to hang on for more and more and more money, then you got to play the game. But, I think you know the answers to this. You're not going to let anybody down until you're actually done with them financially. Correct?
Right.
It's kind of like I went out with Busy Bee one night and they were serving us Moet and they ran out of Moet and Busy Bee said, well, you ran out of Moet? You ran out of Busy Bee. So I guess in your profession, when they run out of money, they run out of you.
Okay.
Right? All right. You take care, boo.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Kool Keith, you got escorts calling you, asking for sex advice.
Final Level Podcast, Mick Benzo, Ice-T, and Kool Keith. Who's this?
Hey, this is Matt. I'm calling from Australia, so there might be a bit of a delay.
That's cool. You got Kool Keith in the building. What you want to talk about?
I was just curious what you guys thought. I'm a photographer over here in Australia, and I shoot live music, and I'm just wondering what you guys think is a good photo when you look back at some of the work that people have shot of yourself with Body Count and Kool Keith. What makes you go, wow, that's a cool pic of me, or that's a cool pic of that set?
What's the cool pic of that?
Yeah, when does a photographer really catch you the best? Like, when do you look at your pictures and go, that was dope?
Well, you look at a cover, like Sex Style was a cover made with pieces that I made, and I took the pictures in my kitchen with the Cocoa Puffs. Like, that cover has won a lot of people. When you saw the cover, a lot of people think that's a bomb cover. People think the Black Elvis cover is great. I think it's just the colors.
Yeah,
and some covers are good.
Too.
Some colors go with an album, and some colors, like you said, even NWA when they was looking up, like when they did Straight Outta Compton,
like you were getting shot and you were on the ground.
Yeah, that was like, those are things that people look for. Like the Critical Beatdown cover was wow,
I think a good photographer, first off, if he's doing a musician, needs to know their music. Like, take a little time, know their music. One of my best pictures I did, Mark Seliger did of me, was for the Rolling Stone cover where he put me in a police uniform. And that was right during the cop killer shit. And he said, right now the cops are mad at you. Put on a uniform. Let them imagine you. Let them imagine you walking up to a car with a billy club like this. You want to add insult to your injury and
play with their mind.
Then he took another picture of me where he duct taped my mouth, and he really wrapped that duct tape around my head. So, I think you as a photographer are an artist, and we're artists too. But the worst thing you do is bring an idea to an artist that they're just totally not with, and then push it. That's when you're going to lose that. You might say, hey, I got an idea, Ice. Why don't you stand right here? And I'm like, I ain't with it. You got to back off that quick. Like, okay, hey, and because it's like a producer that's making a record trying to push me on a beat that I'm not feeling, And I worked a lot with, I don't know if you're familiar with Glenn Friedman. Glenny F, he did a lot of the Public Enemy album covers. He did the Power cover, and I believe that his pictures had as much to do with my early success as my albums, because by him being the guy that shot all the big groups, he shot Run, he shot LL, he shot Beastie Boys. My album cover looked the same as theirs, the same quality. So when people looked at it, they go, oh, well, he's in the mix. Remember you used to do the pen and pixel shit?
Oh yeah, that was
in for a while.
That was a trick. The 3D, people hold their hand out or their hand look bigger, as like it's reaching at
Master P jumped that off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like important because I go into a record store now and you buy based off the cover like it was the days before the internet was around. Now you can just sample anything just by click and play. But it used to be you go in and it's like, oh, what's this Ice-T record or what's this Kool Keith record? I'll put it on a sick cover and then I'm going to give it a chance.
No, that takes it back to what you said earlier, Kool Keith, when you picked up a porno joint. The picture made you buy the product.
Right.
The covers meant something. The covers meant something.
Yeah.
And you know what? We just did a cover for the new Body Count album, and I did it Grindhouse, and it kind of looks like we're fighting zombies or some shit, and there's dead people in front of us, but we did kind of a cut and paste thing there. We had a great photographer shoot that, and Best Buy said they wouldn't show the cover, so they made me do another cover over it to blur the cover. So
yeah, we got the blurred version here as well.
Yeah, but if you pull that sleeve off, you'll see the real cover. But I think that's the key as far as any good photographer is kind of know the artist. Like people shoot Coco all the time, right? But the best photographers, they know what they want, and they know she's ultra sexy. She'll go hard. So when she comes in there and they got the idea and they got, we want to tie you up and all that shit, they know she's with it, So they're going to push the edge and stuff. I just think, know the person you're about to shoot. Very important. Hey, but thanks for calling, man. And I hope to see some of your pictures.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Thanks.
Matt, M-A-T-T, Worrell, WARRELL.com.
This is Ice-T, Kool Keith, and Mick Benzo. We on the Final Level Podcast. Who's out there?
Solo. S-O-L-O, Solo.
From where?
Cleveland.
Okay, what up, Solo? We got Kool Keith in the building. What's happening? Talk to us.
What's up, Keith? I met him a couple of times, I ain't never met you, Ice. I missed you when you was in Cleveland before. But my question is to both of you guys. When you meet, your fans and so forth like that, and they, what makes you want to put that person on, with some music or whatever like that? What do you hear like a certain thing when they kick a voice to you or rap or whatever? What makes you want to put somebody else on?
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to keep it really, really honest. It's so difficult to put somebody on nowadays. You could maybe say, hey, we should do a verse together or maybe make, do something. But the theory that I could actually get somebody a record deal, right now they're not giving record deals. I've been working with artists. Like I got an artist, Fetty DeMarco out of LA that I've been trying to break for years. The record game is totally fucked up right now. It's really, 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 really hard. So unless you meet somebody that runs Clear Channel, just the theory of getting put on, the record labels aren't even signing anybody. So I can meet you and you could be the dopest spitter in the world. And you might come to me and say, Ice, I got a track for you. Would you jump on it? If I like it, I might jump on it with you just on the strength. But what will that do for your career? I really can't say. You know what I'm saying? When somebody says get put on, that means like back in the day when I put Everlast out and he got a record deal, and that was back when they was letting us sign people and you could help people. Now the game is difficult, man. But what I listen for is just something I've never heard, because nowadays everybody seems to be able to rap. I always tell the joke, my UPS man showed up. The nigga sound like DMX. This nigga
now with all the technology, a record company is basically yourself because everybody got a computer now. A label was a big building one time with 800 people and 7 floors. Now a label is two people with a computer
in their bedroom.
They call that a label. That's what the new label is now. And you can do that yourself.
I think if you're a fan of Ice-T or or anybody out there. I think the key is just being unique, and I look for people that seem to have really worked at it, you know, like have tried to become better rappers or try to. A lot of people think they dope, but they haven't put in the work necessary. Like if you listen to Eminem put out Slaughterhouse, them niggas is all good. They dope. Yellow Wolf, he's a beast, you know? So today even our daily game was average ain't gonna get it. So if you're a supernatural MC and you got it out there, you know, trying to fit into the rap world right now is crazy because it's hard to shine if you're not on the radio. But then that's counter what a lot of hardcore MCs feel.
Yeah, you can be pretty much like, I don't want to say garbage, but, you know, not even really that considered good, quote unquote, and still blow up massively. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I got another question for you, though. Whatever happened to that, what y'all had, like that SMG or something? Didn't y'all have like something like that?
Well, SMG was just a side project we did with Smooth the Hustler, Trigger the Gambler, similar like what we did with Analog Brothers, me and Kool Keith. You know, a lot of times a few rappers would get together. Say me and Keith is sitting here, we just had Tretch on, right? Earlier. And we just say, let's do a record. So we'll just call the motherfucking, we'll call the shit.
Whatever each name.
Yeah.
ITK album.
Right, we'll do the ITK album with all of us spitting. You know, and
that's just throwing something up.
And it's a one-off. You feel me? So SMG was the name of Smooth the Hustler and them's clique, Sex, Money, and Guns. I became friends with Smooth, they fam, and you know, me and Smooth had actually went out to a show one night where there was a lot of rappers freestyling, and then like we just so happened to be like the biggest names in the room. You dig what I'm saying? Like a young and then me and him got up and we just started throwing bars. Like I did like a rhyme and then he did one, and it was like the whole crowd was like, whoa, and then he did one. It was like, whoa, and we was like, nigga, we need to just fuck around, just have some fun. So that's why we made the SMG album called Repossession. And it was fun. It's fun to do shit like that, but that's all it is.
All right. Hey, look, I know you got some other people that want to, you know, chime in, but Keith, man, you should come on back to Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I come through there. I still travel. You know, I'll end up out there one day. I just stay traveling. But
he's a traveling man. He's Mike will travel.
I like you said. Like I said, I think I built a good foundation from all those records in the past. If I was coming out now, I think it's more whacker rappers than it's a way out of the good rappers. So that's what makes it hard now for a guy like you that may be good, because there's so many whack rappers out that's weighing out the good. So, but unfortunately, like people like KRS, they didn't lay a good foundation. They can tour forever and stuff like that. It's just and which it hurts a lot of guys that's coming out now that probably are good. It's just we are overweight by so much whackness.
I break it always down to the crack game because I'm a hustler. You know, it's like the blocks are loaded up. The blocks loaded up. You know, when we started rapping, there was only a few cats on a few blocks hustling. Now every motherfucker with a laptop got an album.
And their grandmother.
And 98% of them is whack. And it's just flooded. So the shine.
And they don't say no lyrics. They say, like you said, the chorus. They say the chorus through the whole song.
They hook. We call that hooking.
They got a hook. They call hooks.
Yeah.
Hey, they say the hooks for like 2 minutes, and then right. I feel you. Hey, but look, I know you got a good memory, but I know you be out a lot. So, I remember the first couple times we met, Keith. You let me backstage a couple of times, and I got tore from the floor up. I know you don't drink, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
But next time you come to Cleveland, you know what I'm saying? You always fuck with you way back before I even met you until this day. So keep it up, homie.
Okay.
That's gangster. Respect, homie.
You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, Solo. Every time you see me, you know it's me. You know what I'm saying? Quick 216.
Yeah, okay, definitely.
Hey, and I'm Captain America on Twitter too. So you'll see me on there.
Okay, yeah, and keep it up. Don't let I know like I said, the blocks are full of garbage. So just like clean up a little bit. Let's clean up and we just gotta move some of the garbage out the way. Everybody,
it's gonna come.
Yeah, just move all the garbage out the way.
I know it's garbage out there, but I ain't one of the garbage ones though. Yeah. I ain't never respect for you, but next time I'll show you.
Yeah,
okay, all right. All good though, homie.
Yeah.
Y'all stay up though, man. Y'all stay safe and everything, man, for sure, for real.
Peace. I'm out.
Tell a friend to tell a friend, goddammit. I'm out here like I stole something. See ya!
Number one producer. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Y'all niggas is really Toys R Us. Motorcycle chopper, your chick jump over my dickhead and pop a wheelie. Leather jacket, she ride me like Moto Gizzy. First name Harley, your bitch call me Davidson. Rappers put the condom on my penis for me. Your women let me know what day to come. Who wanna play dumb? Watch your girl swing on the pole like a stripper dancing. Face the facts, she fucked 10 Carolina Panthers. Rookies wash my balls on the university campus. Your lady say my pubic hair smell like Jill Sanders. I was around when your mom was sucking off MC Hammer. Getting your vent like Tyson Beckford. Block your album out like Chandler. Your bitch in tight dresses with Pampers. I'm so cool you might wanna turn the fan up. Man, you hot shit in a plastic cup. I'm not in the wrong, you check her, your girl acts the fuck. Record company fucking her all in the butt. Never said how your superstar wife like the balls suck. Good rappers be in the back hanging my pissy drawers up. I get hard when I watch your girl rapping pumps. Bust a nut on stage if you're equivalent to Adriana Sage. Tell all the rappers I need 2 or 3 hairs around my scrotum shaved. Blow your weed smoke on my jock strap. Your band mad cause you ain't get paid. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Y'all niggas is really Toys R Us. Star on drugs, asshole, look how you handle it. Promoters say you whack live. Why you think you always canceling? You nothing but an egg on the roll, a turkey and a burnt up bacon sandwich. You private jet and sources say you look like millions worth of plastic surgery. When you landing, escalator make you come up and rethink to go back down quicker. Your aunt got a secret baby with Quincy Jones, nigga. You believe the bullshit, how you doing Johnny Rocket shows in restaurants. Blowing up bigger. Bring me tissue to wipe my ass on your career. Your girl headed to Cleveland to braid Kevin Lowe's beard. Your rap you put out on tracks got people depressed, laughing with tears. You just putting whack shit out you had in the attic. Cause a sorry label let you do it automatic. Watch your corny engineer with a checkered shirt and a ponytail. Pan of shit turd dynamic. I urinate on top of places you think is outlandish. Your wife is a hippopotamus, out of shape working for transit. Stomach hanging over the pussy. I see you in the station wagon, that's what you going to get. Woman with orthopedic clown shoes. Taking your girl shopping to get her funky pussy licked. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Make you spin around like that toy dinosaur. See him in the box. Y'all niggas is Toys R Us. Y'all niggas is really Toys R Us.
That's how I'm living. 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 That's how I'm living.